How do we turn hit or miss results into solid and consistent where we end our client session knowing that something has clicked for them for sure, and that we are going to hear some really crazy, profound, amazing news when our clients touch base with us? This very simple concept is something that not a lot of people do, but really, really need to start adding in any of their sessions. So if you are someone who uses hypnosis, uses NLP, any healing methods, maybe EFT, all of the above, when you have this metric in place and when you have this process in place, it can really allow you to be more confident with the results that you give your clients. And this simple process is called testing, hypnotic testing is what I like to call it in my process, but you can call it whatever you want. What this process is you asking questions to ensure that your client has the result that they came to you for and paid you for. And so what this does is it allows you at the end of your session to, first of all, know if your client has received the results, because that's the only metric that we really need to measure in our sessions, not the hypnotizability. If you are in the hypnosis world, that doesn't really tell you anything about the results, right? If your client came to you to stop smoking, have they become a non-smoker at the end of your call, right? That is the only metric that actually counts. And so this is exactly what you'll be doing in your testing process. And so inside the hypnotic questioning world, we have a three-step process. The first one is situational, and you can use this right here, right now with your niche today. And so for your next session, you want to look at what your client came to you for. What is the goal of that session, right? And how are they in terms of where they're at? And this could be like the situation, right? So for example, a client comes to you because they want to find love and they want to go back to the dating scene, and maybe one of their close friends wants to set them up for a blind date, and they kind of want to go, but but there's a lot of feelings involved and there's a lot of things stopping them, so you help them with that, right? Using whatever methodology you use, you do the thing, you do the healing work, however that looks like for you, and at the end you're going to test the situations where this problem used to exist. Okay. So for example, that blind date, your client is like, next week, I'm going to have a blind date, or I'm going to talk to my friends to finally set me up. Right. And so at the end, you're going to be like, okay, so are you going to are you going to tell your friends that you are ready to be set up on this blind date? What are you going to do? Right. That is it. That is the simple testing question that you can ask. Because what is the answer going to be? The answer is going to tell you whether or not your session worked, right? As a result, for results purposes. Because if your client says, yeah, oh, yeah, definitely, I am going to talk to my friends over the weekend and I'm going to tell them that I'm going to set it up. I'm excited for it. So that really tells you the great work that you've done and that your session is done and you did a great job. So that is a good thing. Even if a client is still like ambivalent about it, at least right then and there, what we recommend is do the work already. If you did your process, whatever your healing process is, and then at the end they go, yeah, I still don't know about going to the blind date, like with a blind date. I don't even know. At that moment in time, you have the opportunity to help your client out even more profoundly and help them shift those beliefs or patterns or whatever it is that's holding them back right then and there. You know why? Because it doesn't matter how long you've taken, half an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours in your session. If there's still a lingering belief that they don't want to go through that blind date and they really want to go through that blind date, the outside world and outside stressors are going to unravel the work that you have done in the session if you didn't test. And so this is super duper important. ask the question, and even if they say, I don't know, right then and there, you have the opportunity to help them go further because they're already there, right? If you use some sort of trance or healing work, they're already set up, they're already in that room. You already put them in that room. So you might as well get the job done, right? That is definitely what I would recommend first off. And maybe it takes that long, at least you have a metric that you can gauge to see where your client results are at. Because really, that type of approach, this type of thinking in your session, the results-based thinking is what's going to set you apart. It is not enough these days to just be like, hey, healing, great, congratulations. Like, that's just giving an aspirin, right? Maybe they felt good because they were in a trance, and trance can feel good, but did they really get the results? Right? Because if you're someone who actually gives the results, what will that do to your own self-esteem and self-confidence? That will skyrocket it, right? And so if you just have the simple metric that will show you that you are awesome, but also most importantly, your clients will know for sure that they have changed. Because if they answer and be like, yeah, I'm really excited for that blind date, yay, then they prove to themselves that they change. This is the start of the neuroplasticity process, right? So there is a method to this madness of asking very strategic, simple questions at the end for the purpose of ensuring that results are present in your session. So, what is your niche? Who do you help? What type of questions are you going to ask? Who is your next client? This watching this video is not going to help you. What's going to help you is actually going to take action on it for your next client, or map out ways as to how you're going to utilize this moving forward. So how are you going to utilize this? Make this useful for you. Share it below. Share it with me if you're shy in the comments and just would rather talk to me about it in the DMs. Definitely share this with me, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. And if this process is something that you want to add in your sessions to create that resilience, robustness, and next level client transformation, then comment or DM me with hypnotic testing below, and I will give you the course for learning this full method so you can stand out with your results and feel confident that every person you help today is going to transform.